Welcome to Holistic Restoration for the Body. And what we use for the body are these amazing supplements from a fantastic food science company called Reliv International. And it is international. We have Jason Gregory here to share what's going on in Europe with Reliv International. Jason, will you share your experience with Reliv?
Absolutely. I've been involved with Reliv now for over 14 years. Initially, I got involved with Reliv because my wife got introduced to the products through a friend. And at the time, my wife was struggling with anemia. Her anemia had gone really bad. In fact, her blood count had gone down to 6. And they say when it goes below 8, you need a blood transfusion. So she was not in a good place. But when she started on the products, within a couple of weeks of her taking the nutrition, her energy levels had literally just shot through the roof, and she wouldn't stop talking to me about the product. But I was the skeptical husband, if you want to put it that way. Even though she was telling me how great she was feeling, I was putting it down to a placebo effect. But the thing that kind of won me over was my daughter, who was 4 at the time. She had psoriasis, eczema, and hay fever that we were giving her medication for. And so we decided to put her on the products. And when we did that, we saw really strong results with my daughter within 4 weeks. So that really got my attention because I could put a placebo effect down to an adult, but I couldn't put it down to a child who doesn't know what they're taking.
Mm-hmm.
And so that caused me to get on the product myself. And I was dealing with my own issues. It was a digestive condition, quite similar to IBS, never diagnosed as IBS, but I had similar things going on. But it took me about 3.5 months of consistently taking it before I saw my results. I did see stuff like better sleeping. I saw stuff like more energy, but I was looking specifically for results with that condition, and that took 3.5 months. And so based on what I'd seen in my family, that's kind of really what got me involved with the company, because I knew that I wouldn't have a problem telling people about this. And I was at a crossroads in my life where I wanted to change. I worked in the city in London. I was in a middle management position. It was paying me a very good income, but it was taking me away from my family. So I could leave my house in the morning. I could come back at night after a management meeting if there was one that day. And my daughter could be sleeping when I left and also sleeping when I got back. So I wanted that change. So when I heard more about the company and I realized that there was an opportunity to do a side project around what I was currently doing, I took it on board. And to cut a long story short, I was able to build a business with Reliv that enabled me to come out of the city, work from home around my family. And that's what I've been doing. I became one of the international trainers with the company. I traveled the world with the company, speaking on stage in front of thousands of people for the company, which I didn't think was going to happen when I first started. But for me, when you can help somebody in their health, in their finances, or maybe even both of those areas, and you can see somebody move from point A to point B, and you know you had a part to play in that process, I get a lot more satisfaction doing that than I ever got when I was in IT. And so that was kind of my journey with Reliv. But then towards the end of last year, I was approached by the company. They asked me if I would actually take up a corporate position with them. Now, you have to understand the reason why I left corporate 13 years ago is because I didn't want a corporate job. But the reason why I decided to take the position was they graciously allowed me to continue to build my business. And so, I mean, I do put a lot more emphasis on a residual income check that I can will onto my children than a corporate check that could potentially be taken away. And so that was very, very important to me. And so for that reason, that's why I've got like a hybrid position, but it really gives me a chance to impact more lives than just the people in my organization now. And over the years, I've seen so many people's results. And obviously, we don't say that the product cures or anything specific or diagnoses anything specific. But when you've seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people get results by their body being empowered so their body can fix itself for its own physiology, then it just really re-emphasizes to you the power of the body when given the right fuel. And that's what Reliv is. It's the right fuel for the body.
Right, right. You mentioned that Reliv lets you keep your other job and work for them. Now, doesn't that just speak to the integrity of this company?
It does. It does. The fact that they allowed me to continue to build my organization as well as take the corporate position, that I mean, I knew they had a lot of integrity from the beginning. I mean, I've had a lot of dealings with Ryan, the CEO of the company, his father, Bob, also Scott, who works very closely with the international market. And so I know their level of integrity, but they just prove it over and over again. They go above and beyond. I mean, when I first started in the business, one of the reasons why I started, as well as obviously everything that happened with my family, was a gentleman called Eric Ville, who's now the European chairman. And he really showed his integrity when I first met him, and the things that he did, which is really the thing that brought me in. And then once I was in, and then I was exposed to Bob Montgomery and the rest of the Montgomery family, he just really just cemented everything for me. I mean, the integrity is second to none.
Yes, it is. And you mentioned that what's satisfying about being in this business. And I just want to point out that I just sent a message to Gregory all the way over to London and said, hey, you got a minute? And he said, sure. And he agreed to do this interview. I am not in Jason Gregory's line. I'm sorry, I called you Gregory. I'm not, is that first two name thing? Or,
I know. I get it all the time.
names. I'm sure you've heard that before. But that's just about the integrity of the company, and I know people have called me, and I've shared too. And it's just what we do, because this company is special, and we're all committed to the company. And when anyone's successful, we're all successful. So we all contribute to each other, and that's great. So
that was really powerful. I mean, so that you mentioned that, Colleen, because the other thing that I really found by working in the business was the fact that people who were not financially connected to you were willing to go out of their way to help you. And that's very unique. That's very unique. There's not a lot of companies that would do that. Normally, if you're not financially connected with someone, they'll probably say, go back to the person who's helping you. But that's not Realist culture. Realist culture is we all boats rise with the tide. And that's one of the things that one of my mentors, Carol Palga, says all the time. Yeah, all boats rise with the tide, and it's true. And the types of people in Reliv, you'll experience it once you start working with them. Because another thing, I do quote my mentors a lot, because again, you duplicate what you hear them say. But one of the things that is really powerful, what Carol does say, is what is down in the well will come up in the bucket. And so you'll really know what a person is about when you're working with them. And then as you're working with the guys, you'll see the quality for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. So, Jason, how old's your daughter?
Okay. I've got 4 kids. My daughter's 19.
Okay. Is she the one that was too young to know that she was taking something?
Yeah, she was. She was very young at the time. Very young at the time.
Huh?
Yeah. So she's 19. I've got a son who's 15. I got another son who's 10 and another son who's 8.
Great. Yes. I have 4 kids too. My oldest just turned 30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's all we're saying. he just turned 30, and I just am registering that. So Jason, thank you so much for popping in. I appreciate it. And I look forward to working with you in the future in Europe.